Hey guys, the Adeosun, community in Ido local government area, Ibadan for your state, was thrown into shock on Sunday when they found one of their landlords, Mr. John Aderemi Abiola, in his room almost 4 years after he was last seen in December 2018. Guys, this is serious. So the discovery was made after the community decided, with the approval of the police authorities, to go into his compound, clear the bushes, clean everywhere in his compound, which has overgrown his fence into the next house, causing invasion of reptiles. It was said that this man's fence is so high. So imagining bushes or weeds outgrowing the fence and creeping into the next compound there, it must be something of a serious matter for since 2018. So it was said that as 2019 crept into 2020, the residents started wondering where the man could be. That is Mr. Aderemi. So Mr. Aderemi was said to be working in Port Harcourt, River State. Meanwhile, he lives in Ibadan, where he bought this parcel of land and built these mansions all alone. So as 2019 crept into 2020, so he told one or two people that he normally communicate with that he will be going to Port Harcourt, that's where he works, and come back for Ileya. That's a Muslim festival, in 2018. So, but not seeing him for the festivity and thereafter made them to think he was staying back where he initially came from, that is Port Harcourt, where he was said to have told one or two people that he has wife and families there. So, calls to his phone lines were not going through and blah, blah, blah. So then after it was noticed that the weeds, heavy weeds in his compound had grown so bushy, and the community landlords were so worried, and they decided in a meeting to find a means of getting access to the premises to clear the bush. However, they just sitting the idea because, Nigeria, they could be implicated by saying that they trespassed into somebody's private property. So then came 2021, that was last year, till date 2022. 2022 is almost getting end. We are already in August. Then the residents of the community who did not know where his whereabouts decided again to go and clear the bush. But this time they have to take permission from the police. They take police authority. Then the move now was made again. This time was because a neighbor or somebody bought land closer to that of Mr. Aderemi and moved in 2 years ago after the completion of his own construction. And then eventually the bush continued to grow and continue to harbor reptiles, snakes, lizards, crocodiles, and whatever, thereby crawling into the next compound. And this got the family worried. I mean, the members of the neighbor where the built house closer to him got them worried, and this time they approached the community, or the landlord association, and then they made this bold step of it to the police station where they were giving the law if necessary. So on Sunday, the community decided to hire laborers to clear the bush, and the house was constructed on the backside of the piece of land. Meanwhile, the front side had a thick bush that could not be accessed. That type of building that you have much space in front of your house, then build something like a bungalow or little apartment just at the extreme end of the fence. So meanwhile, as the laborers got there, some landlords went also with them, and they forced the gate opened, and they noticed that Mr. Abiola's Volkswagen Golf car with registration number was parked in the compound, to their own amazement, covered with bush, that is thick bush, heavily thickened bush. And the building, as they came closer, and that the building came in view, it was now noticed that the window of Mr. Aderemi's room was open, which prompted curiosity. Normally seeing the car was already a shock, because normally the man travels with his car. Then, but seeing the window open down now attracted more curiosity. So one of the Mr. Deremi's landlord by the name Mohammed Ademola, who also worked for him during the construction of that building. I think the man said he's a carpenter and normally interact with him, decided to check what was in the room. And however, he was shocked and bewildered when he saw the skeleton on the bed of the house owner, that's Mr. Deremi. And the carpenter raised a shocking alarm, which attracted other neighbors, to raise to the window. So they were all shocked, and then so the neighbors promptly informed the police, and from the thorough check on him, it was evident from his skull and exposed teeth that he was gap-toothed in front. So also his boxers could still be seen around his waist, while the top he has around it, while the top he has worn has been eaten by his rotten flesh. Only a tiny piece remained by his side, also found with his phone and with his laptop. His plasma TV was still hanging on the wall, and his wardrobe still had his clothing and other items. Mr. Abiola, whose date of birth was discovered to be October 1st, 1955, reportedly moved into the house in July 2017, but was not in close relationship with other residents except formal greetings whenever their paths cross. No. So, known as an engineer who also based in Port Harcourt, River State, with his family before moving to Ibadan. So, it was said to have lived in a couple of areas within the city before constructing the house in the Adioshu community, where he eventually died. He was also known for his frequent travels to Port Harcourt to and fro to do his engineering work whenever the needs arose. So the chairman of the community, Mr. Olufemi, who spoke with the media, said that the late Mr. Biela always pay his dues, but we noticed that he didn't associate with others, and he came to landlord's meeting just once in a while. His house had a very high fence and was constructed at the back with big space in front of the gate. So right now they are trying to evacuate his body, but there's no reasonable information regarding his families or his wife. It was said that he married to an Igbo woman, but I think they have issues of divorce or whatever. And it was said he has 2 or 3 of his children in the United States. Even one of the carpenters said that there was a day or a time that he called one of his daughters, and they spoke at length in his home, very present. So right now, they are all in a confused state. At least somebody should know his family before evacuating the skeletal body, sorry. So I couldn't post those things here because they're against the community guidelines, and you know what I mean. So you can go to Facebook and you will see them. So we should all be careful, check on our loved ones, our father. Children should please try. Always be around your parents, no matter anything. I can't understand how somebody could have, have 3 children and none of them could even think of them. But come to talk of it, there wasn't even any sort of searching for this man, either reporting to the police or even announce it in the radio or any media house, even in journals like a newspaper, that this man is wanted. Nobody even cared to look for this man for good, adorable 4 years until he was finally found rotting in his house. Well, I can't really say, but I think this man had heart failure or a sort of heart attack, because it was said that the man himself had been complaining that he has high blood pressure, is a hypertensive patient, and is on real medications. So who knows, maybe he might have fallen into crisis and eventually he suffered heart attack. So please, let's take care of our loved ones, please.